Russell Brand is not having a good week with some shocking news that was released pretty recently. Breaking news. By the time you guys see this, it will be Saturday. This news broke on Friday. Russell Brand has officially been charged with sexual assault and rape. Now, this comes from those allegations that he had over a year ago. They kind of went under the water for quite a bit, but now that is back in the mainstream media. Russell Brand is in quite of a pickle here, and there have been a number of people that have been questioning his recent behavior since those allegations were announced. Now, I want to take you back to the moment after those allegations were announced and what happened on YouTube. Remember, after the allegations were announced, YouTube decided to demonetize Russell Brand's channel. He responded to the demonetization. He also responded to the allegations at that point in time. Let's go back and take a look.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack, and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent, and I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too...
They're coming for you. So here we go, right? So what Russell Brand is alluding to, at that point in time, his channel was very much about uncovering the truth. He was talking a lot about government agencies. He was talking a lot about big pharma, heavily criticizing big pharma at that point in time. And so it was believed, at least by Russell Brand at that point, that they were coming after him because he was trying to uncover the truth. Now, at that time, though, those allegations were announced and I covered it on the show, I told you, based on what I was reading to the audience, it did not look good for Russell Brand. One of these allegations is from someone who at the time said that they were a minor. Now, apparently in the UK, the age of consent is different when you compare it to the United States, but that still did not look good. I said, if that is true, and he's a 30-something-year-old man at that time, and he was engaging in those acts with someone who was a teenager, whether it's following the law or not, that is rather weird to me. Like, why would you be interested in a teenager? So there's that. So I did have critique there. And there were a number of people that were coming to Russell Brand's defense at that point in time. And I still stood firm on this. And I said that, no, a 30-year-old man should not be entertaining with a teenage girl. So part of this could be that that's why they decided to go after him. Those witnesses that did come forward, remember that the UK was compiling that investigation at that point in time, and they sought them out. They went to those women to get their story. That could be part of it, but that still doesn't mean that Russell Brand is not guilty. We don't know if he's guilty or innocent. At this point in time, we have no evidence to prove one or the other. But two things can be true at the same time. It could be true that, yes, he was targeted because of who he was choosing to go after. It also could be true that maybe he did do something that was inappropriate. Again, we don't know. We have to wait for the actual trial.
close to the truth. Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles. Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist. Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free. Hello there, you awakening.
So YouTube went on to demonetize his channel, and then at that point, I believe he went primarily over towards Rumble at that point in time. That was when the allegations had first surfaced, and then there were other pictures, other images that started to surface after those allegations were announced. Many of them showing Russell Brand and the celebrity figures that he was surrounding himself by at that point in time. You can see these pictures here. Of course, there's a picture when him and Katy Perry were still together. Someone was pointing to whatever this symbol is. Down here it says orgy or something. Again, Russell Brand has been very open about how his past used to be and that he was more promiscuous at that point in time. But it was these photos here with Diddy that gave people a reason to pause. And they say, oh, this is Russell Brand here apparently on a jet with Diddy. And then there was another picture here of Russell Brand kissing the egg with Diddy. Why is this important? Because remember, one of the claims that people were saying happened at those Diddy parties was that in these orgies, or rather they were consensual or not, that there was an egg test, right? Now I want to get into the details about that. We are on YouTube, got to keep that in mind. But there was an egg test that men would have to pass to tell you whether or not they were ready for these freak-offs that Diddy was going to participate in. So that gave people a pause at that point in time. People are like, what is going on with Russell Brand? And then things got really, really strange. Russell Brand decided to become a born-again Christian. Now, that's not the part that's strange, but people questioned the timing of it. They said, wait a minute, Russell Brand is announcing all of a sudden that he's found God and this is the way. Next thing you know, he's supporting Donald Trump. And Russell Brand's show, from as much as I saw back in the day, used to give more left positions. He did have on a number of guests. Cornel West has been on there. Brianna Joy Gray's been on there. Max Blumenthal, Aaron Mata, etc. So he's had left voices on the show. But the moment, like after the allegations and his converting to, Christianity, all of a sudden that seemed to stop. And this is something that many of us noticed. All of a sudden his view on Israel and Gaza also started to change. We started to notice that he became friends with people like Rabbi Shmuley, of all people.
Come on, Rabbi Shmuley. What the hell? Russell Brand has made me laugh. He's giving me joy. But I love that he's Bobby's buddy. I love Bobby Kennedy. We all love Bobby. God bless you. Praise the Lord. God bless you, Russell.
So that was Russell Brand there with Rabbi Shmuley. All of a sudden, his rhetoric around Israel and Gaza also started to change, where Russell Brand was like, I don't know, Israel is the right way to go, right? Isn't that what the Bible says, or something like that? It was really weird, really cringe. He posted it on X, and people were like, yo, what the hell is happening to him? I commented on that tweet, and I think that post went pretty viral, and then he deleted that tweet. My comment was, who is blackmailing you? The next thing I know, his tweet was deleted. So there is something going on here. Is it possible that the Mossad could have something on Russell Brand? What could be held against him other than the allegations that currently exist? Some people believe that maybe he was framed. I don't know. Could be, could not be. Right now, we really have no evidence to point in one way or the other. But that behavior there was very cringe, especially considering he had people on his show like Max Blumenthal, like Aaron Mate, who very much talked about foreign policy, talked about Israel and the creation of it and what everything that it represented. All of a sudden, to pretend like you don't know who's right in this conflict was very suspect to those of us who have been paying attention for quite some time. And then now you'll see the recent charges. Before these were allegations, now he has officially been charged. Could it be possible that he knew that this was coming?
And we have breaking news. UK police have charged actor and comedian Russell Brand with rape and sexual assault. The 18-month investigation includes multiple allegations from 1999 to 2005. Let's get right to foreign correspondent Maggie Rulli in London. Maggie, what more do we know about these charges and how Brand is responding to these claims?
Yeah, hey, Dan. Right now, we know that the Metropolitan Police here in the UK are charging Russell Brand with 2 counts of rape and multiple counts of sexual assault. Now, these range from 1999 to 2005 over that 6-year period, and the charges stem from 4 women and their accusations. Now, Dan, all of these allegations first came about during an investigation done by Channel 4 here in the UK back in 2023. And since then, the police here in the UK have been investigating Brand for more than 18 months until they filed these charges today. Now, so far, we have not heard anything from Russell Brand in relation to these allegations and charges, but we do know that after that investigation was released in 2023, he did come out denying any wrongdoing.
Yeah. So Russell Brand has denied these charges these allegations since day one, but now he has officially been charged. Now, I want to reiterate here, charge does not mean that you are guilty. Charge does not mean that you are convicted. So there will be a trial that he will have to participate in to determine whether or not he is guilty or innocent of these allegations. But the charge does send an alarm bell to people who have been pointing out Russell Brand's questionable behavior since those allegations were announced. Is it possible that he knew that these charges were imminent, that it was going to happen at some point in time? Is it possible that Russell Brand has known for, I don't know, maybe since October 7th, that this was going to be an issue going forward? And maybe that's why he developed his relationship with Rabbi Shmuley. Maybe that's why he tried to get on the good side of Israel. We may never know the full story here, but I think people need to start asking these questions. Before, he was willing to hold Israel somewhat accountable. Now it's just, I don't know who's right about, this totally situation. But the timing of everything is particular suspect. I have had this belief for quite some time, ever since he converted to Christianity, that Russell Brand was doing so in an attempt to cover what these allegations were about, or to get some type of protection, maybe from people like Rabbi Shmuley against these allegations. We'll finish it up here.
Diane.
So, Maggie, where does this investigation go from here?
And that's the big question. Right now, Diane, we are aware of allegations against Brand that happened outside of these specific charges. And the Metropolitan Police have been clear that this is an ongoing investigation. They are asking anyone with more information to come forward. And they've gone so far as to say that there's a dedicated team of investigators leading this investigation against Brand right now, Diane.
They are really trying to take him down. They have a special team leading that investigation. Now, Russell Brand has responded. So I do want you to hear the response that he made very quickly as soon as these allegations were announced. Listen to this.
Hello. Firstly, thank you for these incredible and overwhelming messages of support. We're very fortunate in a way to live in a time where there's so little trust in the British government. We're very fortunate, I suppose, that this is happening at a time where we know that the law has become a kind of weapon to be used against people, institutions, and sometimes entire nations that will not accept and tolerate levels of corruption that are unprecedented. I'm speaking particularly to those of you that are watching this in the UK. How do you feel about your legal system right now? How do you feel about some of the high-profile cases that are not being pursued and prosecuted? How do you feel that the Southport murders were handled? How do you feel about the government of Keir Starmer? Now, that's just sort of general context. I've always told you guys that when I was young and single, before I had my wife and family, who were just out of shot over there, my beautiful children, I was a fool, man. I was a fool before I lived in the light of the Lord. I was a drug addict, a sex addict, and an imbecile. But what I never was was a rapist. I've never engaged in non-consensual activity. I pray that you can see that by looking in my eyes. I want to thank all of you for your continuing support. I want to let you know that our show will be on Rumble on Monday. Thanks for your support there. And of course, I'm now going to have the opportunity to defend these charges in court, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. In the meantime, you lot, stay free.
He's incredibly grateful for that. Apparently, he sounds rather calm there. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. But like I said, he probably knew that these charges were coming eventually. What's also really interesting is that they have a special team dedicated to this investigation. So yes, they were definitely going after him. Now, since he has been charged, that leads me to believe they have something. And now that's something, the evidence or whatever it is that they have may not necessarily point to his guilt, but they have enough to go off of to charge him. And that could be text messages. It could be emails. Like, we don't know what else is out there that the victims have been able to show the authorities in the UK to bring these charges forward. But this investigation has been going on for quite some time. Now, what was really weird as well, and I don't know what to make of this, but before these charges were announced, he posted a video about Katy Perry on Twitter as well. This is why it leads me to believe that he knew that this was coming. Check this out. This is rather bizarre. The timing of it, it was posted at 3:46 p.m. April 3rd. The charges were announced the morning of April 4th. Listen to this.
What I can tell you is when I was married to Katy Perry, she's like not entirely normal because she's an extraordinary, massive star, but she's not weird or off key and wasn't involved in anything nefarious as far as I could tell. And the reasons that our marriage didn't work are the normal human reasons. Marriages don't work, and I have nothing but respect for her, even though I obviously disagree with her political views, but I probably disagree with some of my wife's political views, my beloved wife Laura Brand's political views. So, you know, you always disagree with people, don't you? So I think in general, Hollywood and the culture is used to spellbind you and distract you. I've been very, very clear about that. And I do also now believe that there are planned and organized dark intelligence. There is a planned and organized dark intelligence at work using the culture for distraction and control.
Interesting, right? Because considering that was also a part of Hollywood. So I find the timing of that video, that the post of that video and the charges pretty interesting that he posted this. He felt the need to talk about like why things didn't work out between him and Katy Perry. I mean, I really don't care, but it's almost as if he was trying to go on the offense before those charges were announced. Let me get this out there and explain to everybody why things didn't work out with me and Katy Perry. I don't know, but the timing is weird, right? So these are all things to pay attention to. There are definitely red flags around Russell Brand, which I've called out before. He was also cheering on the video that Donald Trump shared on Truth Social, calling it Trump Gaza. Remember that Trump Gaza video? Russell Brand was cheering that on, and he got roasted on X from people about that. He deleted that tweet. So I don't know what exactly is going on with Russell Brand, but these charges are real. And the question now is what's going to happen with his show? What is going to happen? I mean, some people are going to be wanting to distance themselves from him because of this. Can't blame people for that. You can't fault them for that. But it really makes you wonder, is Rumble going to do the same thing that YouTube did? Are they going to tell him, sorry, because of all these, now that you've been charged, we can't have you on here? I don't know. Maybe Rumble will be willing to say, well, since you haven't been convicted, we'll keep you on there. Don't know. Haven't watched Russell Brand in a long time, ever since he made this crazy flip of his or whatever. But obviously, this is going to put some people at arm's length. They may not want to interact with Russell Brand. He is even though he criticizes Hollywood, he was still in those circles of a lot of famous people. And again, the pictures of him hanging out with Diddy with the egg in his hand and all those types of things. I mean, Diddy right now has his own charges against him. And now Russell Brand has also officially been charged. So we'll have to stay tuned to see what happens. but not a good week for Russell Brand. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.